Hello everyone, myself Sneha Shah from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology from the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Today I will explain you about all pass systems, inverse system, minimum phase and maximum phase system from the subject of digital signal processing. First topic is all pass system. Now what is all pass system? All pass means all the frequency will pass. Just if we want to give the phase shift in any signal, then we will use this all pass system, because the signal goes in this all pass system, it will give phase shift and it will give the output which will pass all the frequency. So all the signal will pass, just delay will be given because of the signal will given to any system. So if we'll define all pass system, then for all the frequencies its magnitude response will remain constant because it will pass all the frequencies. So for all the frequency its magnitude response will remain same. So if we define all pass system, it is defined as it is a filter having constant magnitude response for all frequencies. Now if we'll find magnitude response of the transfer function mod h of omega equals to 0 for the range of 0 to pi of omega. Now all pass filter is having a transfer function. If we'll find out z transform of this, then h of z equals to an plus an minus 1 z is to minus 1 plus up to a1 z is to minus n plus 1 plus z is to minus n, divide by 1 plus a1 z is to minus 1 plus up to an z is to minus n. We had representing this z transform of this transfer function in terms of general values of z transform of any sequence in the term of constants along with z inverse z is to minus 2 up to n number of terms, divide by similarly 1 plus a1 z is to minus 1 up to an z is to minus n. We have taken this transfer function to derive the all pass filter response. Now if we will define this equation in general form, then generally we will representing this as numerator part will representing as summation of k equals to 0 to n ak z is to minus n plus k, divided by summation k equals to 0 to n ak z is to minus k. Over here we have taken a0 equals to 1. Now whether the given term is correct or not, it will be checked by taking k values of k. If we will take k equals to 0 in this equation, so this term will become a0 z is to minus n plus 0. It means z is to minus n. And a0 it means 1. 1 into z is to minus n, it means it will give value z is to minus n. Similarly, if we will take k equals to 1 in this equation, then this term will become a1 z is to minus n plus 1. So a1 z is to minus n plus 1 will representing over here up to n k equals to n. So if we'll take k equals to n over here, so this term will becomes a capital N z is to minus n plus n. Minus n plus n will cancel out, so it will becomes 0. So z is to 0 equals to 1. 1 into an, it will gives a n. Divide by summation k equals to 0 to n ak z is to minus k. Now if we will take in this summation, if we will take k equals to 0, so this term will becomes a0 z is to 0. Now the value of a0 equals to 1, so 1 a0 equals to 1 means 1 into z is to 0. 1 into 1 z is to 0 means 1, so 1 into 1 means 1 because of this summation plus. Now if we will take k equals to 1, then this term will become a1 z is to minus 1. So this term will becomes a1 z is to minus 1 up to k equals to n. So if we will take k equals to n, so this term will representing a capital N z is to minus capital N. So this term will representing like this summation. Now if we representing this h of z in this, if we'll dividing these two terms z is to minus n plus k, it will representing as z is to minus n z is to k. So the next term will become h of z equals to summation k equals to 0 to n ak z is to minus n into z is to k. divide by summation k equals to 0 to n ak z raised to minus k as it is. Now in the numerator part, this summation is of k equals to something, right? So z raised to minus n term will become constant from this. So it will outside of this summation. So the next step will become z raised to minus n summation k equals to 0 to n ak z raised to minus z raised to k divided by summation k equals to 0 to n ak z raised to minus k. Now if we'll defining this, it is one polynomial. So this two term, if we'll comparing this two term, over here only the difference is that this summation is same, ak will be same, only the difference is over here the value is z raised to minus k and over here the value is z raised to k. So if we'll defining this one as one polynomial as a of z, so let us define a polynomial a of z as summation k equals to 0 to n ak z raised to minus k. Then this term will representing a of z and this term will representing z raised to k. It means z raised to minus minus k, right? So this term will representing a of z inverse. So this term will representing as h of z equals to z raised to minus n as it is a of z inverse upon a of z. So these two are inverse to each other. Now magnitude square frequency response of this will mod h of omega square equals to h of e raised to j omega into h of e raised to minus j omega. But z equals to e raised to j omega. So this term will representing as h of omega square equals to h of z inverse. Now if we'll finding that h of z and h of z inverse, these two are inverse to each other, so it will giving the output equals to 1. So mod h of omega square equals to 1, it means it shows that if we will draw the frequency response for this, then frequency response will be with respect to frequency, angular frequency. If we will draw the value of mod h of omega, then its value equals to 1 for entire frequency range. So this one is 1, it means it will give the constant magnitude response. So it will pass all the frequency, it means it is considered as all pass system. So it is considered as all pass filter. Now if we will draw the pole 0 pattern, so pole 0 pattern will be representing like, if we will taking the pole, it will be inverse to the 0. So pole and 0 both will be inverse to each other. So if we will draw with respect to unit circle, for the stable system, the pole should be inside the unit circle. So over here, if we have taken any pole at value a, then its inverse equals to 1 upon a. So at the value of 1 upon a, we had representing the 0. So we can define all pass system from this pole 0 plot also. If in any pole 0 pattern, the pole is inside the unit circle and 0 is outside the unit circle with inverse value, then it can say that it is the all pass system. Now the next topic is inverse system. A system is said to be invertible if input of a system can be recovered from the output of the system. It means if we'll pass any input signal through any system and if we'll recover back the original signal from the another signal, then that system is known as inverse system and the whole system will consider as invertible system. So if we will take y of n equals to h of x of n. It means if we will do some operation on the original input signal x of n, so we will do this transfer function of x of n, it will gives us output as a y of n. So if we will take h inverse on both sides, then this term will representing h inverse y of n equals to h inverse h of x of n. Now h inverse will becomes 1 into x of n, so it means this value will gives you x of n. So h inverse y of n will gives you x of n. So if we'll taking any output signal and it will given to this inverse system, it will give the original signal back. So H inverse is the inverse system of H, means the original system. Now if we will draw the diagram for this, then x of n is given to any system, its transfer function is h, so it will give the output as a y of n. This will be given to the another system, like it is considered as inverse system, so inverse of y of n. Inverse of y of n will gives you output as a x of n, so it will gives you output as a x of n. So this whole system is considered as invertible system, and the second system is considered as inverse system. Now the next topic is minimum phase and maximum phase system. If we will define minimum phase system and maximum phase system, it will be defined for any FIR system. Now first of all, what is FIR system? Finite impulse response system. It means impulse response of any system is finite, then it is known as finite impulse response system. Consider any two finite impulse response like h1 of z equals to z plus 1 by 2 divided by z, and the second system as h2 of z equals to 1 by 2 z plus 1 divided by z. Now if we will finding the pole and zero position of this two system, then pole for the first system at z equals to 0 and 0 at z equals to minus 1 by 2. Why? Because if we will take z equals to minus 1 by 2 over here, so minus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, it will gives you the output equals to 0. It means it gives you the 0 position. Similarly, we will find out the output for the second system, then 0 will be at z equals to minus 2. If we will take minus 2 over here, minus 2 will be cancelled out. It will gives you output equals to minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 equals to 0. It means it will gives you the numerator part equals to 0. It means it is considered as position of 0. Similarly, if you want to find out pole will be find out from the denominator. If we will take z equals to 0, the denominator part will become 0 for this two system. So we have taken the position of the pole at same place, but the 0 at the inverse place, like 1 by 2, minus 1 by 2 and minus 2, right? So we will define minimum phase system and maximum phase system from this inverse position of the 0. So we will define this two system from the position of zeros. So first of all, for this we have to find out magnitude response of this system. So for that, if we want to find out magnitude response, first of all we will take z equals to minus e raised to j omega in this equation. So h1 of z will becomes h1 of omega. So the value of h1 of omega equals to e raised to minus j omega plus 1 by 2 upon e raised to minus j omega, because we will have taken z equals to minus e raised to minus j omega, right? Similarly, h2 of omega equals to 1 by 2. Over here, instead of z, we will take e raised to minus j omega plus 1 divided by e raised to minus j omega. Now from this, if we will find out the mode of this, means magnitude of this system, both FIR system, then magnitude will be found by using mode of this. It means if we will find out mode of h1 of omega, then we will find out the value of magnitude of the first systems, and similarly for the second system. So the final value of h1 of omega, I will write over here repeatedly, h1 of omega equals to e raised to minus j omega plus 1 by 2 divided by e raised to minus j omega, right? If we will take mode of this, before that we will take e raised to minus j omega equals to cos omega, this term will representing as cos omega minus j sin omega plus 1 by 2 divided by e raised to minus j omega will representing as cos omega minus j sin omega. Now if we will take mode of this, means mode of h1 of omega, then it will representing as real part square plus imaginary part square in under root, right? So real part is cos omega plus 1 by 2. So we will representing it as cos omega plus 1 by 2. This one is real part square plus imaginary part square. Imaginary part is minus sine omega, its square, and this whole part will be in the under root. Divide by under root of real part square plus imaginary part square. Over here real part is cos omega and imaginary part is minus sine omega, so its whole square. Now if we will simplify this term, then this term will representing as cos omega square. It means cos square omega plus a plus b whole square. It means a square plus b square plus 2ab, right? So if we will apply this term, then 1 by 2 square means 1 by 4 plus 2 times this 2 value. It means it will gives you cos omega plus minus sine omega square. It means it will gives you sine square omega. Divide by under root of cos square omega plus sine square omega. Now cos square omega plus sine square omega equals to 1. Under root 1 equals to 1. So denominator part will becomes 1. And the numerator part is cos square omega plus sine square omega. It will gives you the output as a 1 plus this one is 1 by 4 plus cos omega. Divide by under root 1 means 1. Now if we will simplify this value, then it will gives you the output as 1 plus 1 by 4 means 5 by 4 plus cos omega as it is. This one is in under root and this part divided by 1 means this is the final answer of h1 of omega mode. This one is equation number 1, suppose. Similarly, we will find out for the second system as h2 of omega and its mode. So to find out this value, first of all we will write h2 of omega's value. Now what is value of h2 of omega? Its value is 1 by 2 e raised to minus j omega plus 1 divided by e raised to minus j omega, right? From the first leg. Now if we will simplify this, e raised to minus j theta, it means it will representing e terms of cos omega minus j sin omega plus 1 divided by cos omega minus j sin omega. Now if we will taking magnitude of this means mode of h2 of omega, then it will be representing in terms of real part square plus imaginary part square in under root. Similarly for the denominator part, real part square plus imaginary part square, it is in the under root. Now what is real part? 1 by 2 cos omega plus 1. So real part is 1 by 2 cos omega plus 1. Now what is imaginary part? 1 by 2 into minus sin omega. It means minus 1 by 2 sin omega. Similarly for the denominator, real part is cos omega and imaginary part is minus sin omega. Now if we will simplify this term, the denominator part will become cos square omega plus sin square omega and the numerator part will becomes under root of 1 by 2 cos omega square. It means 1 by 2 square equals to 1 by 4 and cos omega square means cos square omega plus b square means 1 square means 1 plus 2 times this. It means it will gives you the output as cos omega plus minus 1 by 2 square. It means it is 1 by 4 into sin omega square. It means it will gives you sin square omega. Now 1 by 4 cos square omega, 1 by 4 sin square omega, we will take 1 by 4 common part. So it will gives you cos square omega plus sin square omega equals to 1. 1 into 1 by 4, it means it will gives you answer as a 1 by 4 plus 1 plus cos omega. This whole term will be in the under root. Divide by cos square omega plus sin square omega, it means it will gives you under root 1. Under root 1 means 1. This part divided by 1, it means it will gives you this answer only. And 1 by 4 plus 1, it means it will gives you the output as a 5 by 4 plus this term as cos omega. So this one is equation number 2. Now if we will compare the equation number 1, it is under root 5 by 4 plus cos omega, and equation number 2 is also under root 5 by 4 plus cos omega. So we can say that the magnitude of this two system will be same. Now we have to define the minimum phase system and maximum phase system, right? So it will be depending on the phase of this system. So if you want to find out phase of this system, so how will find out phase of this system? phase of this system will be defined by using finding phase of this system. So if you want to find out phase angle of this, phase angle will be found by tan inverse imaginary part upon real part. So if we will take h1 of omega, the value of h1 of omega equals to e raised to minus j omega plus 1 by 2 upon e raised to minus j omega, right? If you will convert this in terms of cos omega minus j sin omega, then it will like this, plus 1 by 2 divided by cos omega minus j sin omega. Now suppose if we will finding the value of phase angle 1, it will representing as theta 1 of omega, it will representing as theta 1 of omega equals to tan inverse imaginary part upon real part. So for the first term, what is the imaginary part? Its value equals to minus sin omega upon real part is cos omega plus 1 by 2. This one is for numerator part minus tan inverse imaginary part. For the imaginary part, for the denominator part, its imaginary part is minus sin omega upon real part is cos omega. So this is the next step. Now if we simplify this term, sin upon cos, it means tan, minus minus plus, this one is tan omega, tan inverse tan omega will simplify as omega. So it will gives you the output like this one is the final part as tan inverse sin omega upon cos omega plus 1 by 2 plus this one is omega. Now if we'll, minus part will be taken common over here. So this term will becomes minus instead of plus. So this is the final answer. Now from this theta 1 of omega, if we will take different values of omega, it will gives you different values of theta 1 of omega. So if we will take different values of omega, theta 1 is a function of omega. So if we will draw the diagram for this, it will gives you the output like this. At omega equals to 0, its value equals to 0. At omega equals to pi and minus pi, its value equals to 0. Similarly, if we will find out value of theta 2 of omega, theta 2 of omega will be found from the value of h2 of omega. And the value of h2 of omega equals to 1 by 2 e raised to minus j omega plus 1 upon e raised to minus j omega. If we will take e raised to minus j omega equals to cos omega minus j sin omega, and we will find phase angle as tan inverse imaginary part upon real part, the final value of theta 2 of omega equals to tan inverse sin omega upon cos omega plus 2 minus omega. And if we will take different values of omega in this equation, so it will gives different values of theta 2 of omega. So theta 2 of omega is function of omega, and if we will draw the diagram for this, the final diagram will be like this. So at omega equals to 0, its value equals to 0, otherwise its value will be maximum. So this type of system is considered as maximum phase system because its phase angle is maximum. This phase angle is minimum. Average phase angle is 0, 0 and 0. So this system is considered as minimum phase system. So from this, if we will consider that if for the first system, the position of the 0 at z equals to minus 1 by 2, right? so it will be inside the unit circle. So if the position of 0 is inside the unit circle, then it is known as minimum phase system. And for the second system, the position of z equals to -2 means position of the 0 is outside the unit circle, so it will gives you the maximum phase system. So see, this system is considered as maximum phase system, and if we will define it, then it will consider as if the position of zeros are outside the unit circle, then it is known as maximum phase system. So these are the definition for minimum phase system. When all the zeros are inside the unit circle, then it is known as minimum phase system. Maximum phase system, when all the zeros are outside the unit circle, then it is known as maximum phase system. Next system is mixed phase system. When some of the zeros are inside the unit circle and the remaining zeros are outside the unit circle, then it is known as mixed phase system. Now some important points to be discussed are, if h of z is having minimum phase system, it means zeros are inside the unit circle. It means it is also known as poles are outside the unit circle. And if we will take inverse system, then poles are inside the unit circle. It means it will gives you the stable system. So if h of z is having minimum phase system, then its inverse system is stable. If we will take h of z is stable, then its inverse point is correct. Like if we will take h of z is stable, then h inverse has minimum phase. And mixed phase and maximum phase system results in unstable inverse system. So to get the stable inverse system, we have to set minimum phase system.